Taoiseach, there are 436,000 people out of work. There are businesses this morning that are trying to keep going in circumstances where they don't have credit from financial institutions. There are families all over the country that are frightened about the future, about whether they can pay the mortgage, what they're going to do about the levels of personal debt that they have. Will they have work by the end of the year? Young people worried about whether they'll get a job when they graduate. And that's on top of the general concern, I think, that there is throughout the population about what we're going to end up having to pay and for how long we're going to have to pay for the banking crisis and for NAM and all of those things. And the one thing that is needed in those circumstances, Taoiseach, is a functioning government in which the people can have confidence. And by any measure, and there have now been several measures, your government does not enjoy the confidence of the public. Some of that is understandable. You've been in office for 13 years. There's a fatigue, there's a staleness that comes with every government that's in office for that length of time. You're somewhat punch drunk from the economic events of the last year and a half. I believe that in dealing with the economic crisis, you're hopelessly conflicted between, on the one hand, having to take the decisions that are necessary to deal with it, and on the other hand, covering your tracks for the role that your government played in causing it in the first place. And that's particularly evident in your own case, where you have an understandable, I think, concern to cover the tracks of your own term as Minister for Finance. There is increasing evidence of incompetence in your government. We had it last week with the Taoiseach's mishandling of the aeronautics jobs at Dublin Airport. And the events of the past week, I think, have shown that your government is now seriously divided. The iceberg has struck. It is now only a matter of time. Now, Taoiseach, you know, we can have the predictable partisan arguments across the chamber. But, you know, there is a service that you need to do for the country now, and that is to wind up this government as quickly as possible. Give the people of the country an opportunity of making a decision about who should be governing the country in these difficult times. If they choose to re-elect you, so be it. But I think they should at least be given the opportunity. We're in very difficult, very strange times and very worrying times for people. And it is not fair and it is not responsible for you, with a battered, broken, tired and now divided government, to continue to hang on to office in circumstances and in times where the people need a competent, functioning government in which they can have confidence and which will have a mandate, something that your government no longer has. Throughout history, Ceann Comhairle, every ruler where power has gone to his head believes that nobody else can rule or govern. And that is what we're now getting. That is what we are now getting from the Taoiseach and from Fianna Fáil. And let me tell you, Taoiseach, let me tell you, Taoiseach, where you're wrong. The opposition have supported you. We supported you on Europe. We supported you on the necessity to make the fiscal adjustment of $4 billion. We supported you. Hold on a second now, because you're very good at the political debate, but let's stick with the facts. We supported you on the fiscal adjustment. We supported you on the necessity to reform public services, and in respect of this country's international reputation, in every meeting and every discussion that I've had, and I'm sure the same is true of Deputy Kenny, with the European Central Bank, with the OECD, with the European Commission, we have talked up our economy, and we have made it clear that in circumstances where there were a change of government in this country, that we would put the national interest first. So, Taoiseach, you have been blessed with a responsible opposition. And yes, where we have opposed you, we have been absolutely right. When this party opposed the blanket guarantee for the banks, we were right. And if that guarantee had not applied to Anglo-Irish Bank, as it shouldn't have, we wouldn't now be stuck with the enormous bill of thousands of millions of taxpayers' money that's going to have to go into that. And when we told you almost a year ago that the most prudent way of dealing with the banking crisis was the temporary nationalisation of the banks, you rubbished it. And you've now ended up in a situation where you're going to have nationalisation anyway, by the back door, in a dragged-out way, in the most expensive way, and in the way that's going to cost the taxpayer most money. Your problem, Taoiseach, is that you haven't been listening to the proposals that have been coming from the opposition parties, and you haven't been acting accordingly. What you are doing is you are taking decisions that are motivated by your desire to cover the tracks for your role, your party's role, in the mismanagement of the economy for the last 12 years, for creating the property bubble and the hand-in-glove approach that you had down the years with bankers and developers.